It's close, according to Bass Track, between 4 people, and you're one of them. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how you're feeling. I mean, I guess where I kind of want to go to start with, and then we're going to get into what you did, the patterns and stuff, but you know, it's been 12 years since Rick Clum won a Bassmaster tournament. He's got some emotions going on. It's been a couple years since Hackney won one, and you just happened to win about 3 last year, so it's all kind of cool, and it's going to be exciting weigh-in. But the thing that we never know is, and you're young in your career, you got a lot of years ahead of you, but really and truly, we never know when our last chance to really win one's going to be. They're not as easy as maybe they sometimes seem. I mean, you've been so successful recently. But how would it feel, even after all the success you had last year, would it, if you pulled this out? Where were you first able? Because you've climbed every single day in the standings, and it's got to feel good to move up every day.
I think I was 25 the first day, and then 10th, and then 4th, and then whatever it was today. You know, as far as feeling, this sport's about momentum, and last year I got some momentum going, and then to start off the year, I kind of lost it a little bit. And you know, to win this tournament, you know, people could sit back and say, well, he got hot last year and won 3. Well, to come back and win another one, it's not like, well, he's not hot for a little bit. You know, that guy can catch him. But
that's a good point.
You know, I had a good tournament. Everything that I caught swimming a jig, and I got to watch everyone eat it. I feel like today I did my job. If I lose this tournament, I lost it on the second day and on the third day. The second day I weighed 1 fish that was 1.5 pounds, you know, and that was the fog delay. That was the short day. But where I really think I probably lost this tournament was yesterday. I tried to boat flop a 7-pounder.
Really?
And that's just, you know, as professionals, a lot of times we do things the professional way, but yesterday you know, I let everything kind of get to me, and, you know, emotions. And what happened was I'm fishing real dirty water, and I just didn't think this fish was that big. You know, I thought it was a 4 or 5 pounder, and we swing those kind all the time. And I went to swing it, and once she started coming out of the water, I knew,
oh my God, I didn't know.
I knew I'd made a mistake. And you know, whenever you got a 7-pounder and something's got to give, and the bad thing was that she had the jig in her throat. If I would have just taken my time, you know, I would have killed a 3-pounder. So I did my job. You know, I wanted to get a good finish this tournament, to move back up in the points, and I've done that no matter where I finish. But it just feels good. You know, this is the first Sunday in bass that I've fished this year. Last year I fished several, and it feels good to be fishing on Sunday. It feels good to have a chance to win. You know, that's as professional fishermen, that's all you can ask for is you fish on Sunday, you be in contention to win, and you have a chance to win. Because like you said, you don't have this opportunity very often.
No,
I mean, it's not. I mean, not very often do you have the opportunity to win a elite tournament. I mean, the guys are just too good. You know, Rick Clum said it this morning. These guys don't let you win. I mean, if you're going to win, you have to take it. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't just show up and have a mediocre day and win the tournament. If you're going to win this thing, then you have to go take it. I mean, you have to really bust them because of the caliber of fishermen we're fishing against.
That's right. All right, let me ask you a little bit about, if you want to talk about the baits, we can certainly look at 1 or 2 or you know, whatever you want to. That'd be great. But I really want to know if you adjusted any this week, because we had so much rain and the water color kind of changed back and forth on us a little bit. And even you know, most places you go when it rains 2 inches, the water comes up. But here it fell. If you look down those rocks right now, and I showed a little bit earlier, there's what we call wet rocks. I mean, it's dropped 1.5 feet in the last little bit. Did you have to adjust to, you know, you said you caught all of them swimming a jig, but where they were positioned in the grass or out of the grass, did you have to do any of that adjustment, or you just kind of stuck to one thing?
I'll tell you what I kind of figured out. I mean, what I end up doing is I live 4 pools up, and I fish this water all the time. And what I would try to do, if the water was rising, I fish the bank. I mean, I fish the green weeds where I think, you know, they're kind of moving up to. And the day the water was falling all day, and about noon it just clicked, and every little isolated weed bed that's away from those big flats, that's what I was targeting. And I swim that jig by there, and they just couldn't turn it down. When I would get a bite, I mean, they would just, it was like a frog bite. I mean, I'd be swimming that jig, and it's just whoosh, and they'd have it in their throat. I had something funny happen today. I tell my cameraman, I just caught a 5-pounder, and I said, man, I'm fixing to catch a big one. I said, I got goosebumps. And not 3 flips later, I swim my jig by a little old isolated weed clump, and there's one weed hanging out there. And I'm swimming that jig, and I see this weight coming. And at the same time, my jig gets to that weed, and the jig comes up, and there was a 5 or 6 pounder. I mean, tried to get it, but my jig come up, and those fish don't get that big. He's smart. I got him to react one time and couldn't get him to react again. But
wow.
Everything I caught, all 20 fish that I weighed this week, come swimming the jig, and I watched every single one of them eat it.
That's so fun. Can we look at the jig or the trailer?
Yeah.
Folks really want to see that stuff.
That's it. One of the things that I did, this is a 1/2 ounce booyah jig, and I was fishing pretty dirty water, and you were talking about the rain. I think the rain that we had the second or the third day, whenever that was,
Second day, I think.
it actually helped me because my area was getting pretty clear, and it blew a creek out, and it got pretty dirty. But what I would do fishing that dirty water, this jig's really loud, and I'm really pumping that thing, trying to get them to react. And then whenever I would come back down and fish this clear water, I would take the rattles off. You know what I mean? Just give it a little more subtle action, and
all right, I got to ask you this, because I caught some on it, but obviously I wasn't doing all the right things. I finished 22nd or 27th, and you got a great chance to win this thing. And I'm asking you because I know you throw it. I saw you throwing it at Classic. Why not a chatterbait?
For me, a chatterbait or a blade style bait is pre-spawn. I mean, it's just that I just can't get them to react. And one thing here, I mean, you make a cast, and a chatterbait, it just takes one little weed to mess up that cast. And a jig, I mean, I can flip it up on the bank, I can bring it over anything that's just totally weedless. And what was good about it, I'd swim that jig and I'd come to a clump, that I couldn't swim. I'd flip that jig right in the center of it. I only caught one doing that this week, but it's just the
convenience.
Perfect. Yeah, this is like 5 baits in one. I mean, I can swim it, I can flip it. I caught 2 the first day. Flipping rocks, there was 2 weed beds, and I just happened to flip the bluff and caught a couple 3-pounders. So, it's something that when I grew up fishing, I mean, I had some really good teachers on swimming this jig, and then today, yesterday really, I would fish by some fish, and they'd get that current rocking, and then I just had these little key stretches. Once I seen that current start rocking, boom, I'm moving, and I'm just bouncing. I'm fishing 10 yards here, 50 yards there, a little point there, and just trying to run where I think they're pull up to eat. This lake, I mean, this river is a lot like fishing the Tennessee River. I mean, these fish feed when the current gets the highest, and you got to be around them whenever they do that.
That's so important. Yesterday, I know, and you may have been one of them too, but there were several guys that I talked to that busted them in the last 15 minutes yesterday afternoon. And it's like, if you miss those opportunities, you are done, and you've got to be aware of that water when it's moving and when it's not. And when it's moving, you better get to the best place. I mean, is that what you thought?
Yeah, the later the day got, the better the fishing got. I actually caught a couple of big ones each day in the last, I know the second and the third day I could catch 4.5 pounders, throw it in the boat cull and take off. And it's just, that's when the current got to moving the fastest, and that's when they went to biting. If we would have fished, till 5 or 6 o'clock, it would have really been ugly, because, even when that current gets started at 1, 2 o'clock, it still takes them, an hour or 2 to really get set up, move out, and get ready to eat.
All right. It's going to be exciting. Good luck.
Thank you.
It's going to be interesting. Depends on who's cameraman or who's marshal, big-eyed a little bit. If everybody's pretty accurate, y'all might have to go back fishing, at least 2 of you. Good job, man.